All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. It is Friday, January 12th of 2024 here. This is our last show of the week. We do this show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS-related questions. If you guys have questions, you can get them in one of three ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video. You get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you get access to the rest of the SaberSim team here. So can't say enough good things about the Discord. But looking ahead to today, we have a 2-game NHL main slate. We have an 8-game NBA main slate. And then we have football all weekend. We have Saturday, 2 games. We have 3 games on Sunday. If you guys are participating in the Max Challenge free roll, that is going to be on Sunday. And then we have a single game on Monday. So a ton of DFS action coming at you guys all weekend here. So I'm going to get the app pulled up. We're going to start with questions that came in the Discord as always here. And we will see where we go from there. So it looks like our first question here came in from Sammy. It's a 2-parter. Question says, hi, Andrew, what will be the actual criteria to use an exactly rule instead of at least or no more than? Okay, so really just depends what you're looking for, right? So what I would say here is, like, if I'm playing NBA, and let's say that, hey, I know I don't want to have any 4 or 5 stacks, right? So what I would do is I would come in here, set a group rule, automatic, group by team here, and then basically say, hey, use no more than 3. So what I'm saying is, hey, I'm okay with 3 players from one team. I'm not okay with 4. I'm not okay with 5, etc. here. Now, say we're playing something like MLB, right? MLB, you might want to guarantee that you have at least a 3 stack in your lineup. So in that case, what I would say is, like, hey, I want at least 3. So, hey, I want the bare minimum of 3. I'm okay with 4. I'm okay with 5. So that's really it. That at least is like your bare minimum, but you're okay with more. Exactly is like the most specific, like, hey, I don't want 2. I don't want 4. I want exactly this many players. So, like, where I could see that coming into play is something probably like NFL, where if you, like, are somebody who knows you want like a QB +2 or something like that, then you could come in here and then you could do something where you're like, hey, if at least one quarterback from a team here, so I'll do it group auto, if at least one team quarterback, then use, exactly 2 from the same team, right? And then you just click the position player. So maybe you want exactly quarterback +2s or something like that. So that would be one way to do it. That's where you would use exactly. We're trying to be very, very specific, but those are the cases where I would use the different 3 there, and hope that clears up some confusion. All right, guys, we don't have a lot of questions today, so if you guys have anything you want to ask ahead of the weekend here, please do so. I do know that I hope this comes out. I do know that Jordan is working on an NFL playoff video for you guys heading into the weekend with all these short slates spread out across multiple days, all the late swap opportunities, the ability to take advantage of contest sims, etc. here, guys. So be on the lookout for that video dropping here either later today or early tomorrow, but probably today, guys. Okay. All right. Next question here from Jorn Vigo. Question says, hi, Andrew. What will, I'm sorry. I copied the same one again. All right. Try this again. Okay. Question is, can you demonstrate how to add a rule to limit the amount of players before or after a certain tee time? Tried something like this today, but couldn't get it working. Yeah, absolutely. So say there's some type of like weather split, right? Actually, this is probably like a good thing to cover. People were asking this. So like, hey, does SaberSim account for weather and things like that? So yes, we account for the scoring environment of the tournament. We understand, the weather dynamics, the weather impact on like a day-to-day basis, but we do not account as well for tee time splits. So if you guys are seeing something where it's like, hey, like say it's going to be windy. Like, okay, SaberSim understands, hey, it's going to be windy. Our mob take that into account. But if it's going to be way windier in the afternoon and way less windy in the AM the AM split, then SaberSim is not going to take that into account as well. I would recommend doing something like that. So say that, we have this huge weather split, right, where AM has a way better wave. Well, what you can do here is go into your lineup rules, add a rule, go to group, go to automatic. So normally, like the way I do this, guys, I'll just show you like how I do it. Is I'll just say, use at least 4 from the good wave. And then I'll just add a stat requirement. So then I'll say, hey, use at least 4 players whose tee time is, before, because we're using this morning example. And then I'll say, 9 a.m. or something like that. And then boom. So you just type it in like that, and then you do it. So the way that you described it here, Vigo, was, how do you limit the amount of players before or after a certain tee time? So if you want to limit, this kind of goes back to the first question of the day. You can write it both ways, right? So if I want to say, hey, use at least 4 from the morning, or I could say use no more than 2, after, 9. So however you want to write it, man, however it makes sense to you, but you just got to put in, double digit for the hour, double digit for the minute, and then the AM or PM, and then you're all set, right? So if you come in here and actually look at the tee times, you're going to see that it has all that information, right? So you're basically copying this format. So, I would put 07:40 AM or, 12:40 PM or whatever it is, right? So look at those and then write the rule accordingly. But you just pause the video, see how I did it, and then decide which way you want to write it. All right. Next question here in the Discord. Question says, 2 NBA slates in a row where I swapped off a top 5 lineup. Just variance. I should probably view that as a good thing. So what that tells me is that, 1, you're building good lineups, right? So you have strong lineups to start. And then, yesterday, I'm pretty sure like there was not really a reason not to swap, in my opinion here, right? Like we had a big change in the starters with Dallas here, with Jaden Hardy coming off the bench. His projection tanked big time. And then we had, Christian Wood getting ruled out with an illness. He comes down, like, unfortunately, man, those things happen. I definitely am not going to tell you, oh yeah, you should have kept those lineups. You shouldn't have swapped, because those projections changed significantly to the point that you should have 100% swapped. So, I'll give you guys an example. Yesterday, I was mad at myself. I set a timer. The Laker game was at 7. I thought it was at 7:30 my time. I set an alarm for 7:10, guys. I got back to my computer to come and do a swap, and the game had already started. And I had Christian Wood lineups. And it's like, what am I going to do, right? So, like, I was mad at myself for not swapping. You're probably mad at yourself for swapping. Like, that's all variance, guys. Weird things like that happen. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over it too much, but I'm definitely going to encourage you to continue to late swap, okay? All right. Jumping back here. Question. It looks like somebody else did the same thing. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I got the times mixed up, guys, and I had lineups without players. It's brutal. All right. Question in the YouTube chat from Anthony. Hi, Andrew. I've been killing it in pro and college football. Awesome. Quite the opposite in NBA and NHL. How would you suggest I get better at the NBA, NHL, and eventually MLB contest? Thank you. Okay. So I definitely have questions about this or comments about this. We actually talked about this a little bit yesterday. So I would just watch that as well here. So yesterday's show, it's not timestamped yet, but it was one of the, I actually sent this to somebody because they had a similar question. So right here, like the 120 mark, like after the intro is like the first question of the day. Basically, we talked about, hey, actually, that might not be it. Man, it came from In It to Bink It. Oh, I know where it is. Hold on, guys. Let me find this segment for you, because I thought this was actually earlier in the week. I actually thought this was a really good segment. Okay, pause it. 7:05. And remember, guys, the YouTube videos, they're all timestamped for you guys. So you guys can go in here and easily find, a question that you asked, or a segment that you want to watch or a segment that you want to skip. We try to make it as easy for you guys to navigate as possible. So this 705 segment, what is the best way to add value to a slate if you don't know the sport? I'm not saying that, you don't know NBA or NHL. I'm just assuming here that, it seems like your core sports or, these football type sports, the NFL and college football that you're talking about here. And you're branching out, you're trying to get into NBA, you're trying to get into NHL, you're trying to get into MLB, right? That video, which I just dropped in the chat here, is going to be a really good guide, kind of how to attack a sport that you don't know anything about. And the first and very most important thing that I would recommend is to lower the amount of bankroll you're playing in a new sport. Just because you're playing 2.5 to 5% of your bankroll on these other sports that you're good at, that you've been playing for a while, does not mean you should go and jump into a brand new sport and play the same amount of your bankroll, right? So a couple ideas with that. You could lower that number, come down to like 1 to 2% while you learn the sport, while you feel it out, while you figure things out. You could even set like a sport specific bankroll, like, hey, NFL and college football, I'm comfortable with this being my bankroll, but then, with MLB, I want to set aside this specific amount of money and then do 2.5 to 5% of my bankroll from that number, right? So there's a couple different ways to divvy that up and come about it differently here. But really is just, in my opinion, it's going to come down to trusting SaberSim, learning the sport, figuring out ways that you can add value through different things here. Checking out our content is going to be super huge, right? So over on the YouTube channel, go and watch our How to Beat playlist. So go to our playlist, go to How to Beat NHL DFS in 2023, brush up on these videos. How to Beat NBA DFS in 2023, brush up on these videos. You want to go further back, right? How to Beat NBA DFS in 2022. How to Beat NHL DFS in 2022. Like, consume as much content as you can, because one thing that I always say is like, yeah, these videos are older. They might be from last season, but that does not mean that they're not useful. That does not mean that they are like there's not good information in there for you to still use that is still viable in this season. So just because it's a new season does not mean all the info goes out the door here. There's still a lot you could do with it, in my opinion. So those are the places I would start, is getting that education and foundational knowledge of the sports in, hearing from people who are more seasoned than you are in those sports, and trying to, model, mimic, and master what they're doing. And we put out a lot of content to allow you guys to do that. So those are my best tips. All right. Great. And just one more note on that. This is a pretty cool thing that happened. So on the Ultimate Plan, guys, you guys get, one-on-one access to a coach over email here. We send you guys a survey. You guys fill it out. We respond to you guys and start a conversation that way. I was talking to somebody about, NBA strategy and, how to get better and where to start. And I sent them to our NBA playlist, and shit you guys not, like, next day he goes, wow, this is crazy. I just started on all the stuff you showed me, and he hit for like $2,000, and like, that was sweet, right? So the content works, guys. The coaching works, and we're really proud of the content we put out. So check it out, guys. But Anthony said, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, man, happy to help out. And that was our last question here, guys. So I will be right back here Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for our next show. Good luck this weekend in the free roll. Good luck this weekend in all the DFS you guys are playing. So until then, take care. Good luck. I'll see you all.